Good morning and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Daybreak. I'm your host, Delaney Bomas. And as you can see, my co-host Taylor Fife is not by my side for today's show, as she has unfortunately fallen under the weather. However, the show must go on, so I will be here hosting the show solo this morning. This morning's top stories start with what on-campus event is being held involving a Supreme Court case, and what are the final court rulings for a trial happening right within the city limits. Wake up and pick up your pumpkins, Pittsburgh, because here comes Daybreak. Start your morning with us. Only on Daybreak. Well, unfortunately, Taylor's under the weather, and that might be because of all these weird weather changes. Are we going to warm back up, or is it going to stay in this weird, cold, rainy? Lindsay, do you have the weather for us?
Yes, thanks, Delaney. It's been pretty chilly here in Pittsburgh, and it's going to continue to be chilly. As you can see, we have a high of 60 today with a low of 48. On Saturday, we have a high of 55 with a low of 39. And on Sunday, we have a high of 48 with a low of 34. As we transition on into the week, we have highs in the 50s and lows in the 40s. Then they go down to the 30s. That's all I have for weather. Now back to Delaney on the couch.
Well, at least it's going to stay cold and not going to fluctuate really weirdly, which might help with people getting sick. So hopefully Taylor will rejoin us soon. Your city and campus news starts off this week with a Daybreak exclusive. Our former hosts, Jess Paterchek and Alex Grubb, sat down with former roommate of Elena Chiquette, Zach Brandemer. As more developments have happened in this story, it's only fitting to play back some of Brandemer's experience of the tragic story.
Getting on a more serious note, she's obviously had a relationship with Matthew Darby, and you've clearly been friends with her for a while. So how did that play out in your eyes? Like, how did that relationship start? And you must have been there during it all.
Yeah, I actually knew Matthew Darby for about as long as I knew Alina. They met at Pickeringsburg freshman year, and that's when they started dating. It was her only boyfriend since she started college, so going on 3 years now, they were together. The relationship was on and off a lot, but it was never off for more than like a week. You know, they would be off and then they would get right back together. The relationship, in my eyes and everyone else's that could see it, was not a good relationship at all. There was a lot of tension in the relationship, and it's unfortunate that, you know, it's extremely unfortunate that it ended the way it did. It's so upsetting and so sad. But I think we can really use this to help raise awareness in the future for domestic violence.
With these thoughts in mind, further developments in this story have occurred 1 year later. Matthew Darby has pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. The county DA's office tweeted on Wednesday that Darby took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Darby was accused last October of murdering his ex-girlfriend, University of Pitt student Elena Chiquette. His formal sentencing took place Wednesday afternoon, and Darby will now face life in prison without parole. With his sentencing comes question of why Elena's law has not been passed in the Senate yet. According to WPXI, Elena's law could have saved Chiquette's life if it had been in place earlier. This law would, quote, allow judges to require electronic monitoring of people with PFA orders against them. Last year, the Senate passed the bill with a unanimous vote, but it is currently sitting in the House Judiciary Committee, and it has been there for the last 10 months. And for a hint of campus news, on October 23rd, the Center for Media Innovation will host a free event featuring Mary Beth Tinker as a guest speaker. Tinker was part of the landmark Supreme Court case Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District. The case defined the constitutional rights of students in the U.S. public schools. The Tinker test is used by courts today to determine whether a school's disciplinary actions violate a student's First Amendment rights. The event will be held from 4:30 until 6 p.m. According to the event's Facebook page, Tinker is expected to discuss what it was like to be a teenager fighting against censorship for student free speech rights. Interested students and faculty can register for the event on the event's Facebook page. A rare paralyzing illness in children has been confirmed in Pittsburgh. According to KDKA, at least 62 cases has been confirmed in 22 different states this year alone, and at least 65 additional cases are being investigated. This disease seems to be coming every other year, as cases were confirmed in 2014 as well as 2016. Although it is a similar disease to polio, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said it has ruled out polio as the cause. UPMC Children's confirmed they are treating 3 cases of the suspected illness. Coming up after the break, what's new with regional sports and what hotly contested state seat has taken the limelight this election season. Stay tuned because you'll find all that and more only on Daybreak.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Kiara Fry with your latest regional sports news. Last Sunday, the Steelers defeated the Bengals, who currently lead the AFC North. But the 28-21 victory did not come easily for the Steelers. With about 3.5 minutes left in the game, the Steelers were leading 21-14, but not for long. A 4-yard touchdown run by Joe Mixon put the Bengals in the lead 21-20 with a little more than a minute left on the clock. But it was just enough time for the Steelers to make a comeback. The game ended with a 31-yard catch and run for a touchdown by Antonio Brown, followed by a 2-point conversion catch by Juju Smith-Schuster. Now 3-2-1, the Steelers have a bye week. There have been rumors that the Steelers' bye week would bring Le'Veon Bell back into the locker room, but there was no sign of Bell at Monday's team meeting and film review or practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. Missing the first 6 games of the season, Bell has already forfeited $5.13 million of his $14.54 million salary, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. In Bell's absence, James Conner has produced Bell-like numbers. Conner rushed for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Bengals last Sunday. This is the 3rd time this season that Conner has put up that stat. According to ESPN, Conner currently ranks 5th in the NFL with 453 yards rushing. Moving from the field to the ice, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Vancouver Canucks went into overtime Tuesday night. The Canucks came out with the 3-2 victory after Brock Besser scored 34 seconds into the extra period. The Penguins are now 2-3 with 2 overtime losses. The Pens will be back in action on Tuesday as they face the Oilers. That's it for sports. Let's turn it over to the Daybreak News Desk with Andrew Brinker. Andrew, what's the latest in national news?
Thanks, Kiera. Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz faced off in a final debate for a hotly contested Senate seat on Tuesday night. According to the New York Times, the debate was characterized by O'Rourke's pivot towards a much more aggressive tone than was present in prior clashes between the candidates. The Democratic challenger made it a point to directly attack the incumbent Cruz's character, saying, quote, "He's dishonest, and it's why the president called him Lyin' Ted, and it's why the nickname stuck, because it's true," end quote. Cruz fired back, sticking to his strategy of portraying O'Rourke as a far-left liberal who is out of touch with the needs of the citizens of Texas, referring to him as, quote, "the only Democratic Senate nominee in the country who has explicitly come out for impeaching President Trump," end quote. The two candidates both launched harsh personal attacks and disagreed on almost every topic, staying along party lines. According to CBS News, they did manage to come together in support of the Me Too movement, as the incumbent Senator Cruz said, quote, "I think the hashtag Me Too movement has done an incredible amount of good for this country," end quote. The Times reports that following the last debate, Cruz has begun to build a lead over his Democratic opponent. Some polls have reported Cruz being ahead by a margin as large as 9 points. The Texas Senate race plays an important role in the Democrats' hope for a swing left this November. A victory by O'Rourke in a historically red state against the incumbent Cruz could be the defining moment in the upcoming elections. Midterm elections will take place on November 6th.
Now, Andrew, do you think the fact that O'Rourke has grassroots supporting him, is that going to help him in this race? And do you think that that's going to change a lot between now and the election date?
Yeah, absolutely, Delaney. Voters in Texas are excited to get out there and vote for a candidate who is not accepting money from these corporate PACs, who fund a lot of the big money candidates. And it's obvious in the polls as O'Rourke is polling remarkably close to Ted Cruz, as he's the incumbent in a very red state in Texas. And I do believe that this is the race you're going to want to watch coming up in November. That's it for national news. Let's send it over to Sarah Ray Wisniewski for the juiciest entertainment wrap-up. What's good, Sarah Ray?
Thanks, Andrew. Pop star Ariana Grande and comedian Pete Davidson officially called it quits earlier this week. The stars have yet to confirm an exact reasoning for calling off the engagement, but there sure is a lot of speculation. A Grande source told People magazine, quote, "It's way too much too soon. It's not shocking to anyone," end quote. The couple did rush into their relationship pretty quickly, considering they've only been dating for a few months before their June engagement. The announcement was a complete shock to a lot of fans, yet some felt they saw it coming because just days before the breakup, Davidson joked about being dumped by Grande on Saturday Night Live, saying, quote, "If we break up, and we won't, but in like 10 years, God forbid that ever happened, there will be a song called Pete Davidson playing in the speakers at Kmart and I'll be working there," end quote. Additionally, fans have noticed Grande seeming sad and unlike herself, resulting from the passing of ex-boyfriend Mac Miller. Neither of the stars had specifically spoken out about the breakup just yet, but Davidson did call off his next comedy show because he was feeling very sad about the whole situation. TMZ quote a source saying that while things may be done for the couple now, the two aren't ruling out the possibility of anything in the future.
Now, Sarah Ray, following this breakup, I did notice that Ariana took a little bit of a break from social media, and then I heard Pete also deleted his Instagram completely. But do you really think either of those are going to last? And do you think that has anything to do with Ariana's future career, as the same for Pete?
Being in the spotlight, I do not think this break from social media will last very long, especially since Ariana has been back on her Instagram promoting for her performance in the Wicked, the Broadway musical revival for the 15th anniversary. So I do think that they will be back on shortly, especially since they have to be constantly posting for their careers. I don't think it will last very long. But that's it for your entertainment wrap-up. Let's head back over to the couch with our brightest pumpkin of the patch, Delaney.
Well, thank you so much. And coming up, we're going to have an interview and we're going to hear an original song from a Pioneer record star, Alyssa Loxton. You don't want to miss it, only on Daybreak.
The United Student Government at Point Park University, working since the 1970s to solve the issues that matter to you. What concerns do you have about the university? Student life, safety, food service? Send us an email to studentconcerns@pointpark.edu or stop by our office on the 7th floor of the Student Center. You can also attend our weekly open meetings on Mondays at 3:15. Follow us on social media at USG_PPU for more. The United Student Government, by the students, for the students.
The Point Park Sports Network, bringing you live coverage of Pioneer Athletics on Stretch Internet, the home of the River States Conference and the NAIA. Subscribe today for complete access to the Point Park volleyball, baseball, basketball, and soccer teams. Watch live and on-demand broadcasts and don't miss a minute of Point Park Athletics. Head to pointparksports.com/live for broadcast listings. The Point Park Sports Network, your streaming home for Point Park Athletics.
3, 2, 1.
Please visit our website. Please, it's a nice website. Please visit our website. Please.
If you have ever watched television, whether accidentally or on purpose, YouView is for you.
Welcome back to Daybreak, and I'm sitting down here with Alyssa Logston, her Director of Marketing at Pioneer Records, Megan, and the multimedia person at Pioneer Records, Mariah. So welcome, and thank you for coming on Daybreak with us.
Thank you for having us.
So Alyssa, I want to know how you got started with music, how you got started singing. Just tell me a little bit about that background.
So I started taking piano lessons when I was 6 years old. I hated it, and my mom forced me to keep doing it because she thought I had some talent. Which now I'm glad that she made me take it. Then I started getting into voice lessons. I sang at church a lot, and that kind of got me the confidence of being on stage. And then I am here now.
So I recently heard that you have some big news with Pioneer Records. Would you like to share that all with us?
Yes. So I just found out this week that I won the Pioneer Records contest. So I'm the new Pioneer Star, and I'm really excited.
So with being the Pioneer Star, this is probably more of a question for you guys. What comes with that? What does she get out of it? What kind of promotions, things like that?
So she'll be recording an EP with Jesse Nas at Red Cayman Media. So she'll have her EP production by the end of this whole journey in February. She'll have her own CD release party at Stage AE at the club in February as well. So it comes with a lot of perks. She'll also have a music video produced for her with the Point Park University's music video workshop class. So that's a really great opportunity. A lot of the SIM students and cinema students get to participate in that, and it really just creates her vision and brand as an artist.
And after this EP, like, what happens with that? Does she stay with Pioneer Records? Does she move on to something bigger? Like, how does that work?
So basically, Pioneer Records is a starting point and a jumpstart for musicians' careers. We like to offer a foundation so that we can provide them with brand development and their artist development so that they can kind of use their EP and their electronic press kit to go ahead and develop themselves and put themselves out in the world and use the materials that we've helped them develop in order to kind of jumpstart their own careers musically. So we're basically just kind of a tool to help them get there and further progress in their careers.
Okay, that sounds really awesome. Like, I didn't really realize how much Pioneer Records does on campus.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm on this side of things. Yes. But can you explain a little bit about how recording the EP works? Like, how do you start with that?
Yeah, so basically it's a month-long process. I mean, it's not quick by any means. It definitely takes a lot of work from Jesse and definitely from the musicians as well. We're in there every week working, so that'll start happening soon. And actually, a lot of students can volunteer to join us and observe the process. It basically, knowing not much about the actual creative process of music itself and just the business side for us especially. It's really just about putting together, you know, all of the tracks behind it, putting her voice on it, and, you know, making the sound that she wants with her music.
Speaking of that sound you want with your music, what would you say your genre or vibe you're trying to get is?
So I would say my genre is like pop rock.
Okay.
I always say that my music is so different from my personality. Because I have a very like bubbly, happy personality all the time.
Yes, I can definitely see that.
And my music is just it comes from a very dark place. But I think that's kind of what makes it original because you have those aspects of that darkness. And not a lot of music, like when you think of pop rock, I feel like most of it's kind of upbeat and happy. And I think that that dark twist is kind of interesting.
It's definitely an interesting take. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing a lot of that. And speaking of hearing people, I heard you signed somebody else. Can you tell me about that too?
Yes, so we are introducing Victor Garaseb, who is another Point Park University student, and we selected both him and Alyssa out of over 20 submissions. So he'll be a collaboration artist with Alyssa on one of her songs and for the music video.
And she's going to be performing in February at Stage AE?
Yes.
Will he be there as well?
Yes, he will. They will be performing that song together, and we are going to do a lot to promote him as well. Right. She is the Pioneer Star, but we also have him as a collaborative piece. So both of them are really key for the record label this year.
Speaking of promoting things, how, maybe on the multimedia side, how does all of this promotion stuff work?
So usually it's Meg coming to me and she tells me basically like the dates, the times, like all of the information that I need. And I either come together with a flyer, push cards, posters. Right now I'm actually working on an ad for the Globe.
Oh, okay.
And then I also create like the EP case and everything.
That's She's my right hand for
That's
everything.
a lot that goes into this.
Yes.
I knew it was a big deal, but like getting down to the details, it's a big deal. This is really cool. So you have events coming up. I heard about a Halloween event. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, we're going to get spooky in Village Park on October 27th. Alyssa and Victor will be performing. So we're going to have a lot of live entertainment, live music. It's going to be a really great opportunity for people to finally hear our talent that we have. We love her and we're so excited to share her with the Point Park community.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to hearing that, as well as I'm sure everybody else is. So thank you so much for coming on. That's all we have time for the interview today. So I wanted to thank you all three for coming on. And coming up after the break, we're going to hear one of Alyssa's original songs. So stay tuned.
Go. Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
Be like, join EOP. And 3, 2, join EOP.
You said grab them now or else I will step
Yeah. Join on point with politics. 3, 2.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back, and now we're going to have Alyssa play her original song, Don't Give Up.
Speak up, don't speak, head down, don't think, give up. Too loud, too asleep, too scared, too blame, give up. Can't touch me if I'm dead, says a voice in my head, give up, give up. Keep the cards against your chest, shut your eyes, hold your breath, give up, give up. You got me right where you planned, along with trigger in hand, falling down when I landed, and I won't be coming home. You left me to die, I left you covered in lies, falling faster, I rise, and I won't be home tonight. Oh, I won't be home tonight. Oh, speak up and let them know. Can't break me if I don't give up. Don't give up. I'll rise above alone. I will fight until I won't give up. Don't give up. You got me right where you planned, alone with trigger in hand, falling down when I landed, and I won't be going home. You left me to die, I left you covered in lies, falling faster I rise, and I won't be home tonight. Oh, I won't be home tonight, 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 tonight. I won't be home. Oh no, I won't be home. Cross my heart and hope to die. Close your eyes, say goodbye. Count to 10, don't you cry. I'll see you on the other side. Cross my heart and hope to die. Close your eyes, say goodbye. Count to 10, pretend, don't you cry, I'll see you on the other side. You got me right where you planned, alone with trigger in hand, falling downward I land, and I won't be coming home. You left me to die, I left you covered in lies, falling faster I rise, and I won't be home tonight. Oh, I won't be home tonight, 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 tonight. I won't be home. I won't be home. Speak up and let them know. Can't break me if I don't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you so much for that incredible performance, and thank you for coming on Daybreak and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all we have for Daybreak. Tune in next week for the news you need. I'm your host, Delaney Bomas, hoping your news is good news.